For the longest time, the most significant query about who was going to be John Cena's last opponent on his retirement tour. Who was going to be the famous person who stood opposite John Cena and competed against him in the last match of his career and life? Because it's such a big event. It's been anything that during the tour people had been discussing all year long. Fans were interested in the topic because they wanted to know if WWE would. In that final match, will they do it right and send him off in the proper manner, or will they make a mistake? Although it's debatable, many believe that half of John Cena's he had previously fumbled with his disastrous heel run in his final year in the ring. They threw everything into John Cena's huge, unexpected heel turn. However, it ultimately produced no results and squandered almost 5 months of his final tour. Then they just turned him around and pretended that the heel turn had never taken place. Fans are therefore concerned about some of the execution there because of how poorly the heel run was handled. Regarding how successfully John Cena's final match and program will be executed, everyone is hopeful that they can truly get it together there. Possess a completely solid understanding of what they want to do. It was stated a few months ago that Gunther was supposedly scheduled to be John Cena's last opponent. While some fans found that idea appealing, others had conflicting feelings about it. However, Nick Nemeth and Jonathan Coachman recently developed a novel concept and notion that it appeared to be liked by most fans. They intended for John Cena's farewell match to resemble a gauntlet. Match with a number of his fiercest opponents and possibly some fresh faces. Now, this is an intriguing idea since it offers numerous fantastic opportunities for some meaningful plots and storylines to reappear. John Cena has made it clear that he doesn't wish to choose his last opponent and wishes to let WWE handle it. Perhaps that is precisely what occurs. As John Cena's last match is scheduled for December 13th begins to approach more slowly, perhaps John Cena raises his hands and declares that he will confront anybody Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce choose. However, there's a problem. The TKO board of directors calls Nick and Adam, and they let the general manager characters know that they have no authority over John Cena's last bout. It is currently under the board of directors' control and is no longer in their hands. There was nothing revealed at that time, except that John Cena's final match was now under board control, and how Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis were deposed of their authority about any booking. Authority over John Cena's last match. John Cena is informed by Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce that they no longer have any details of his lost game because the issue was taken out of their hands. They were simply informed that it would be a gauntlet match. No information regarding the match's participants is available to the general managers. Their sole responsibility was to inform John Cena that the match would be a gauntlet one. John Cena is essentially blindfolded going into this match. It's billed as a gauntlet match, which is what John Cena's last bout is expected to be. However, the main enigma here is that nobody is aware of who's in the contest, and nobody is aware of who initially organized everything. John Cena simply shows up for work like any other day, prepared for anything. Other day, but he doesn't know what he's getting into with this matchup. Additionally, this is where the participants will begin to emerge. Anyone you truly want can be plugged into the first few gauntlet slots. However, let's choose a combination of John Cena's traditional competitors and fresh talent. The initial participant can resemble Braun Breaker. John Cena will be facing a whole different face. All year long, many fans wanted to witness Breaker versus Cena. Thus, the fact that Braun is the first player gives us a preview of what that matchup will look like. The true trendsetter for this match is Braun Breaker, who comes out first. An indication that this will not be a simple task at all. John Cena is impacted by Braun, but he manages to outlive and survive him in some way, resulting in a second opponent, who might be Randy Orton, entering the ring. Many fans claim that the 2025 feud between Orton and Cena felt a little hurried. Here is a brief opportunity for Randy Orton and John Cena to face off. The final instance where both of them were at their peak as babyfaces, just the two greatest of all time, competing, no cheating, no plots. However, the outcome is the same. John Cena defeats Randy Orton handily. Thereafter, it is revealed that the third participant is CM Punk, who still has a score to make amends with John Cena because there was a lot of interference in their most recent match. Gunther would be the next contestant after CM Punk is eliminated. The long-rumored opponent for John Cena's final bout turns out to be here. Gunther enters the ring alongside John Cena. At last, John Cena is slowing down and experiencing the consequences of the protracted gauntlet match. At this time, he had defeated 4 elite athletes, demonstrating his breakdown. John Cena truly takes the brunt of Gunther's suffering, but in a valiant manner. After defeating Gunther, Cena is completely worn out, demolished, and unable to endure, which results in the announcement of The Rock as the next and final opponent. The arena's roof blows off. Perhaps this was one of those occasions where the surprise was maintained secret, and nobody was genuinely anticipating that The Rock would be at John Cena's last bout. However, by emerging and making his appearance, The Rock additionally, this would demonstrate that The Rock was indeed the one stealing everything. The strings that were pulled behind the scenes to give John Cena this cruel match. This group of formidable opponents for John Cena was expertly arranged by The Rock, wishing that during Cena's last match, one of the group could defeat him and make him look foolish. However, after all of the people he sent out there are unable to defeat Cena, the boss is forced to serve as John Cena's actual last employer for the duration of his career. That moment when Thanos said, "Okay, I'll do it myself." This is the final matchup between John Cena and The Rock. Technically, this is their third meeting in a singles match. In head-to-head competition, John Cena and The Rock are knotted with 1 victory each. Although the situation may be difficult, this would be the decisive factor in this case. Thus, The Rock is making his way to the ring in good health and rested form, while Cena is the complete opposite. The cruelty of what John Cena has experienced all night has left him unable to stand. The Rock enters the room and requests that the referee call the bell and begin the fight between himself and Cena. Additionally, The Rock may make it a no-go because he is the heel authority figure that he is. Disqualification match. And he is prepared to physically beat John Cena with his title. And why does The Rock treat John Cena with such aggression and rage? The response is straightforward. John Cena discredited Travis Scott and The Rock and gave up on the heel turn that The Rock had started for him the night before SummerSlam. The Rock is furious with John Cena for disparaging him and acting so hastily. That is the primary motivating factor for them to become babyface like that, which goes against their ambitious original aim. Is the reason for the whole massacre that he orchestrated for John Cena's last bout, and now is where you can choose between 2 routes to reach the end. Either the nice ending or the bad ending is yours. Examining the unhappy conclusion, The Rock would exact retribution on John Cena for giving up on the hill run and pulling up the victory against Cena, sending him off to walk into the sunset as a huge loser. Or considering the happy conclusion, keep in mind that if The Rock did make the match non-disqualification, that makes a lot of lawful match interference possible. Perhaps Cody Rhodes interrupts to face The Rock and save John Cena. The involvement of Cody allows John Cena to defeat The Rock by a pinfall. And since it redeems themselves, a finish like that would be really pleasant. For the catastrophe that was the heel change moment for John Cena, The Rock eventually makes a comeback to recognize the happenings after months of the story going nowhere. Elimination Chamber and appropriately conclude the story with John Cena, and it seems like you would return with this particular finish. To arranging The Rock versus Cody Rhodes as well. This final strategy backfired on The Rock because of Cody's interference. Presumably, The Rock would now set Cody Rhodes in his sights since John Cena is no longer involved. Thus, laying the groundwork for Cody Rhodes to take on if Cody is still the champion, Rock will win the WWE title. And after witnessing the ordeal that The Rock put John Cena through, Cody should be frightened of that matchup.